you're just filling in these boxes down here. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to get practice with your calculator. Last year and the year before, people would miss problems on tests, not because they didn't have it all set up right, but because they didn't know how to punch it into their calculator. Okay, I want you to make sure you know how to do that. Okay, so in this first one, this first box asks you how much interest was earned. That's another one that for whatever reason last year people weren't quite grasping. So let me ask you this: if you started out with $200 and it grew to $300, how much interest did you earn? What's that? $100. Okay, let's move across here. In the second account, again, if you started out with $200 and it grew to $325.77, how much interest was earned? Good, $125.77. So a lot of people last year on these types of questions, they would say that they earned like $325.77 in interest. Remember, interest is the amount over what you put into it, okay? So, all right, who can tell me how much interest was earned on account number 3? $127.72, and so on. Okay, you guys can do the rest of that. Now, I want you, what you're doing in these boxes down here, if you don't have enough room, you can do it on a separate piece of paper, that's fine. All you're doing is you're showing me how these numbers came to exist, okay? So, for the simple interest, if you go back and look at the simple interest formula, I equals PRT, that's what you're doing. I equals PRT, and you're plugging in all the numbers. Remember, I'm going to put this up at the top. 10% was the interest rate, and T was 5 years for all of them. Okay, N is going to be the thing that varies based on how many times it compounds. So who can tell me what I'm putting in for P in this one? 200, that's the amount you originally put in. R, I'm putting in how much? Not, so if R is 10%, if I want to put the 10% as a decimal, that's what? 0.1. And T, how many years was it in there? 5. Okay, so if you now punch all of that into your calculator, what do you end up getting? How much? $100. Okay, that is not 300. So what is going on with that? Good. That's just the interest. That is only the case for simple interest. What you'll find as we start going across the way is that you won't have to do that anymore, but with this simple interest, that's the way it works, okay? So B, or the balance, is you take the original amount that you had and add it to the interest. So that's where the 300 comes from. Okay. I'm going to go through one more of these, and then I'm going to let you guys finish it out, okay? Let me move down here so that I have more room. All right. The next account has compound interest, and it was semi-annually compounding. So which formula do I use for this one if it's compound interest semi-annually? Nikki?
For the previous one,
yeah,
you put B when it's I.
I put, oh, this is I. Okay. B represents the balance afterwards. So you take I and add it to the original amount that you put in.
Okay.
But again, that you only have to do that with simple interest. Everything else you don't have to. Okay, so the next one. All right. Since it's a compound interest one, you take the compound interest formula. So let's copy that here. B equals, whoops, you cannot see that. There we go. B equals P times 1 plus R over N to the NT. There's a good chance we're going to have to continue this tomorrow. And if we do, you guys will just have the rest of the period in class to work on it. What time do we get? Let's see. Never mind, we might be good. Okay, so what am I putting in here for P? P is the original amount that you put into the account. 200. So P is 200 for all of these. I could put that up at the top too. Okay, the interest rate is what again? R is the interest rate, and that's what? 0.1 again. N represents the number of times that this compounds per year. If it's semi-annually, that's how many times per year? 2. Okay, so that goes in here and here, and it still has been invested for 5 years. Okay. How many people have their calculators with them? Okay, go ahead and get them out. I'm going to go through how to do it with this type of calculator first. And then, oh, let's see, how can I do this? There we go. And then if you have a different type, we'll go through that in a minute, okay? But here's how you want to do it. If you have the type where, good. If you have the type where you can see parentheses on the screen, you can literally go left to right, okay? So try it out. So I'm starting at 200, then hit times, and then you're literally following it here. Times open parentheses, 1 plus 0.10 divided by 2, end parentheses, end parentheses. Okay, remember the exponent button? It's either a little hat, so I have the hat on mine. Some of you have a button that, so it's either a hat like that, some of it you could have the x to the y, some of you could have y to the x. I think that's the only kind that I've seen. So you find your exponent button, and in my case it actually shifted up to an exponent, and then you do open parentheses 2 times 5, end parentheses, and enter. Okay, and then you should get whatever the amount is up at the top. Is there anyone who did not get that? Okay, I'm going to come look at yours. Should be 320, it should be the thing that's up at the top, 325.77. So on this one, do we have to add interest back in or anything? No, why not? It's already taken into it, right. B represents the ending balance, I represents interest rate or interest earned. So this one it's already wrapped into the formula itself, okay? So you're using this same formula for the next 3 of them and then the continuous compound interest for the last, okay? And this is it. Questions? Okay, go for it.